Hi there, everybody. I thought I would break from recent convention and bring you back to my morning quotation marks dressing routine. I was catching up in my Philly Inquirer today. Trying to get the knots out of my hair. And it's so interesting. They were, as usual, reporting on the latest instance of anti-blackness. The latest visible instance of anti-blackness was when this diversity consultant told employees, staff members at the Free Library of Philadelphia recently that you shouldn't say words like white supremacy or white privilege because they were apparently alienating to white people. But you see, as I said on a recent episode of Hysterical Whiteness, I have a knot here, you see. It's very difficult. I have a lot of hair breakage. You know, this is why hair is such an interesting register of experience and difference and ways of being. I often blah 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 blah. I got tongue-tied there for a second. So that's a knot there. You know. I like to joke on this show about my hair. Because I used to never have good hair. I don't even know if I have good hair now. But do people think about good hair days and bad hair days? Is that thing... Is that a thing that still exists? I wear like a hat a lot. Mostly because... Well, I mean, it was winter recently. And, you know. I don't want to show too much of my body because, even though this program's not made for kids, I'd like to keep it at a, at least at a PG-13 rating. Do ratings still exist? I don't know. So anyway, interesting element of the Philadelphia Inquirer's reporting on this visible instance of anti-blackness, which is that a diversity consultant, right, who's making money selling their wares, their services, promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, aka DEI. It's big business now. And she said, I don't know the person's gender identification. I'm trending genderless these days, but not everybody's there yet. The diversity consultant, TM, capital D, capital C, diversity consultant, said that you shouldn't use terms like white supremacy, systemic racism, white privilege, because they're alienating to white people. Well, they are alienating to white people, which is why they should be used, because white people like me should be alienated. That means severely distanced, in fact, dissociated from whiteness. And of course, the Philly Inquirer writes about this, and they quote the CEO of this company called Diverse Force, one word, capital D, capital F. You see what's going on here, right? The diversity industry is big business. The CEO, which means he's, and again, I don't know the person's gender identification, but the English language, which I've studied and written in and thought in for, you know, 4 decades. My mother once told me that a lady should never tell somebody their age. So I don't want to quite, but I'm, you know, in Google, you could look me up. The CEO of this diversity company, right, defended the diversity consultant by saying that essentially that people who speak out against anti-blackness, right, or who don't want to continually center whiteness and appeal to white people in positive terms that make white people feel comfortable, right? I'm trying to do the opposite of that in this program, Hysterical Whiteness, right? I'm trying to get white people, my fellow white people, to understand that we need to divest from whiteness in the way that Saidiya Hartman, among many others, has most recently communicated. Right? What does that mean? Dissociate from whiteness. Stop paying attention to whiteness. Or at least stop indulging in what you perceive to be the positive elements of whiteness. Oh, that not. Everything's a tangle, you see, in the world these days. Look at that. Just fell out. A tangle of hair, but don't worry, it'll grow back. You know, I just washed my hair. I try to only do it once a week in the European style, but it's not just the European style. A lot of people wash their hair less frequently than is recommended. By the way, you don't have to wash your hair every single day. Did you know that? The reason that people think you should wash your hair every day is twofold. One, companies need to sell products. 2, people are obsessed with this concept of cleanliness. It's so sad. It's really a shame. But you see, that's the problem. People have so much shame. People are so internalized, you know, with their shame. It's like they're locked in a room with their shame. Remember the shame bell from Game of Thrones? So, the CEO of this diversity company, a little bit of coconut oil goes a long way. But don't let the white people sell you on that one. The Trader Joe's, which frankly kind of needs to be canceled, right? Because trigger warning, Papagiatos and, you know, Jose tacos, right? Like all of that, like multicultural branding. Listen, this was in fact a Trader Joe's product. You know what I mean? Shea butter and coconut oil. Oh. Right, shea butter and coconut oil. Oh, right, those are things that I identify with white people. It's like the whole goop situation, you know? Which is a whole other story for another day. But it's like all this wellness stuff, right? All this self-care stuff. This is also something that people have been trying to say for quite some time. It's a ripoff. Of black people. Black people's quote-unquote innovations. Indigenous people's quote-unquote innovations, right? Black people can also be indigenous. And indigenous people can also be black. And you know that. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. You know, I'm just washing my hands. It's a very holy season, right? It's Passover this weekend and Palm Sunday on Sunday for those of the Christian faith. Following week, it's Easter. And then not far after, it's Eid, spelled E-I-D, not E-A-D. So you see, when the CEO of this diversity business criticized the people speaking out about this anti-blackness, we're not just black people, but also white people. And probably other people along the spectrum of color. Think of it as a grayscale, a gradient. Sorry, I'm just going to dissociate here for a second, by which I mean I'm going to focus on flossing my teeth. I can't do more than one thing at a time. I mean, I can. But I like to be very intentional about my flossing. Really get in there. I'm so sorry, that's so gross. I might not post this. I probably will, because I'm addicted to it. It's a kind of harm reduction. It's like when you go to the dentist and they ask you to spit, you actually kind of do because the saliva is being produced. Because your mouth is supposed to be wet. It's not supposed to be dry. Cotton mouth. Think about that at scale. People who picked cotton, for instance, historically, in what we call North America now, were not allowed to use their mouths to speak what they thought about anti-Blackness, for instance. And now people are also being told that they can't use their mouths to speak about anti-Blackness. What are the continuities there, and what are the discontinuities there? Sort of like a magic trick, if you will. AKA a thought experiment. Oops. I do have a drainage. A drainage problem. Oops. In this sink, which I'm gonna have to get my landlord, the management people, to work on. But you know. See. I'm muzzling myself, as it were, because I would like to resign. Also from Trader Joe's, and I'm gonna have to get a new one. Well, I might end up making a trip to Trader Joe's today. Because yes, you can use the products, but don't be used by them. I don't really think I'm the market for Trader Joe's anymore. I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm so crazy. Speaking about race relations like this. I was gonna speak for a second. Excuse me. I like to floss. I mean, I already said that. I like to gargle because I also have a nasal drainage issue. That's why my voice is so nasally. And as you see, I like to really go in and brushing my teeth. Right. Teeth are also a signifier. Right. Of how much money you have, of where you are in the hierarchy of socioeconomic status, for lack of a better word. Anyway, longtime viewers of this program will know that number one, I'm an Aquarius. Number two, the essential plot here in each of these episodes is whether I'm going to get to the point I want to make, which is, you know, whether I'm going to get to the point I want to make as I repeat that phrase. Or whether I'm going to be distracted by all the insights that I come up with along the way. Insights that are meaningful for me. Because I'm communicating, I'm practicing my communication skills. And anybody can do this, actually. I'm happy to show you how for free.